Hello, I am Commissioner Elmer Darnell, Fulton County District 6. Welcome to Mighty Six Conversations. As you know, Conversations is a monthly information and communication program focusing on what we call the sustainable community. Economically strong, environmentally safe, with liberty and justice for all. Focusing today on justice. The subject for today's conversation, Fulton County Ad Hoc Health Disparities Task Force. In the words of Marvin Gaye, what's going on? I'm very pleased to have joining me in today's conversation Bridget Bailey, who is the Director of Customer Experience and Solutions. Welcome, Bridget.
Thank you, Commissioner, for having me today. Delighted to be here.
It's good having you join us. It's been a little time since you've been here.
Yes, ma'am. It has.
And even though the Customer Experience and Solutions Department is one of our newer strategies that we're all excited about, you're here to help us today understand and communicate the Fulton County Ad Hoc Task Force on Health Disabilities. Because what we found out was that even those of us who are not focusing on health, you cannot deal with health without dealing with the external factors that the county is responsible for as well. But Bridget, many of our listeners and viewers would like to know a little something about the Customer Service Department. Many of them know about it because of the extensive outreach work you've done, and also they heard more about it at our town hall meeting. But for those that may not have heard, would you tell me about the department? We're very excited about it.
Absolutely. Fulton County's Customer Service Department is really here to serve all of our customers, whether they are internal or external customers. We are committed to providing efficient and impactful service to everyone that is here within the county or does business with Fulton County. And we're actually trying to develop options to make it easier for people to do business with the county. We're looking at some of our services to say, what can we do better? Where do we need business process improvements? And how can we make sure that our citizens have access to do service anytime, day or night, after business hours, if they want to do service. A few of the projects that we're working on to make it easier for our customers involves our digital transformation project, which has to do with our web revitalization project. Right now, our website could use a little work. It is more department focused, and so we now want to make it more customer centered, where citizens will actually be able to focus on the services that we offer versus trying to find the service under the department. So that will make it easier for them to do business with us.
Clearly.
Much easier. If they want to make a payment, if they're interested in some of the programs that we offer.
They're not interested in all these titles we have for the department.
Yes, ma'am, that's right. They want to know about service.
Right. You're focusing on services. That's in your title.
Yes, ma'am. And so we are actually working on that project right now. The contract was recently signed, and we'll be doing the kickoff meeting with the vendor to actually start to focus on everything that we can do for our customers to make it easier for them to do business with us.
That word access is important.
Access is important, and equal access for all of our citizens. We want to make sure that every citizen can access our services quickly without delay and get efficient service at the end.
Well, that's a nice little transfer into the specific topic that we're going to talk about today.
Yes, ma'am.
When you say every citizen, we were very pleased, Bridget, when we found out that the health, then called the Health and Wellness Department, had received a number 5 ranking by the NACO County Rankings in 2017. And of course, that county rankings is something we all look forward to because it is a project that's sponsored by NACO, but it's actually performed by University of Wisconsin, their county population folks, and it's funded by Robert S. Wood Foundation, and they don't touch anything that isn't high quality.
That's right.
And as you know, Bridget, evidence is what we need. We need
Yes.
facts.
Mm-hmm.
We need facts. So we were very encouraged and not surprised that the Department of Health and Wellness, now I think called Board of Health,
Yes, ma'am.
received high ranking
Yes.
among the Georgia counties. In fact, we were number 5 this year out of 159 counties in terms of health status.
Yes.
But this ad hoc task force that y'all put together on health disabilities sent a clear message to all of us. And that is why Fulton County ranks number 5. I hate to say it to folks, but Forsyth was number 1. And we'll see the reasons why, they're external
Yes.
factors. But even though we were very encouraged to be in the top 5, because we had outstanding department that worked very hard, you know, in helping people with their individual behavior, we were disappointed that our rankings dropped. They dropped. And what we found out was that we have certain census tracts in Fulton County, most of them in central Fulton,
Yes.
southwest Fulton, and South Fulton. We have certain census tracts where the percentage of deaths
Yes.
from certain diseases like
Yes.
cardiovascular disease higher than the rest of the county.
Yes.
And when this was brought to the attention of the board, we said, first let's update our data.
Yes.
Because we hadn't done any data since 2009, showing a gross disparity, significant difference between the health status of folks based on their zip code.
Right.
Based on that zip code. And it looks like it really is continuing. But in any case, when that information was made available to the board,
Yes.
we asked the county manager, would he pull together our staff, you know, working with the community and see what we could do across the board. What can how is public works impacting this problem? How the arts? Yeah, we were everybody's at the table,
Right.
and we were very, very pleased that the ad hoc task force on health disabilities disparities was created.
Yes,
Folks
ma'am.
wanted to know more about it.
Great.
I noticed they wanted to know more about it. They don't think government does anything, but as you indicated, that we're not focusing on them. But we couldn't afford. And then I'm going to stop talking. But what those NACO rankings showed us, Ms. Bailey, was that when it comes to really supporting the health status of people in Fulton County, we have done, the Board of Health, that is now called, has done a pretty good job. Number 5 out of 159 counties, it's not bad. But as Marvin Gaye said, we still had too many.
Yes. Yes.
Too many crying, Bridget.
Yes, ma'am.
Too many mothers dying, too many children crying. And you and your task force, rather than just talking, y'all are coming together as department managers and department representatives to say, how can we impact this together? Is that basically your concept?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us give us a little background on that, Bridget, and I promise I'm not going to interrupt.
It's all right. Be happy to do so. Out of the task force, we got together and really created a brainstorming session and looking at the NACO report and some of the other research that was out there on certain census tracts.
And we have some of our own.
We do. We've done
a lot
well.
of it.
Yes, ma'am. But we still have some challenges that we have to address in certain areas of the county and certain regions of the county. And out of that, we started to say, what can we do? How can we address this issue? And we brainstormed and we came up with several different ideas, and we categorized them into things that we could do right away. Things that we could plan for, things that we can consider, and some of those things that may be a little hard to attain for Fulton County without partnering with other agencies outside of the county.
In nature.
It is. We have to have some collective collaborative efforts to make this a success. And so out of those meetings, we started to identify stakeholders within the community, the Adamsville community, which is where we're looking to start our first part of the research, and we decided that we needed a health impact assessment. And those health impact assessments are done to help us look at policy. How can we put policies in place that can help decrease health disparities? Yes, ma'am, we need a policy.
That's the foundation.
We need a policy. We need to, that's what we need to build upon. Yes. And so we started looking at how can we put health in all policy in all of these different areas to impact and improve and have better health equity among all of our citizens. Housing, affordable housing, economic development, land use, employment. We're starting to look at our strategic priority areas to say, what can we put in these to make it better for our citizens so that we can decrease these disparities? Everybody should have an equal opportunity to be able to have equal health and access to health care.
That's a key word, isn't it?
It's very key. It's equal. We want to make sure that all of our citizens across the board, not just in certain regions.
Yes,
ma'am. Opportunity. And so out of our task force, we have actually partnered with the Georgia Health Policy Center, and they will be conducting the health impact assessment for Fulton County. We have been able to partner and bring on board with us as some of our partners. The City of Atlanta is working with us. CDC. We have a former representative who used to work for CDC and has experience in environmental justice who's sitting on the task force with us to provide that input. Dr. Henry Falk. He is actually retired from the CDC. He worked with environmental justice.
Oh, look at that
And he's on our task force. That's a beautiful experience to have. We have a young lady, Heather, who is with the State Road and Tollway Authority. So we want to look at air quality, transportation. How is that all impacting our health? It's got to be done together. Looking at the we have partners. City of Atlanta has joined on board with us. They want to be a big partner with us. They came to our meeting and said, "Hey, we've got to work together because we're serving the citizens. We've got to work together."
The largest.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so we've been successful in getting these stakeholders. We want to get more community stakeholders. It's important to have people who are part of the process, a part of the decision making that gets recommended to the board. That's key. The people who are being impacted.
Justice,
absolutely.
They got to be part of the process.
They've got to be part of it. And they're being directly impacted.
Tell us more about that strategy of the assessment.
The assessment will actually help us to go in and see what are the areas, and we know some of them up front because of the research that's already been done. Adamsville is going to be one of our areas, and that's where we'd like to start. That area right now has one of the highest incidents of cancer, stroke, high blood pressure, and asthma. And so we've got to look at it. They lead the county. They lead the county in this area, and so we've got to make sure what is it about this community that's causing this? What are the underlying factors? I think the county has done a great job when you look at our ball field, our health ball field. We've got our bases covered. We do community outreach. We're offering services. We have health centers within our regions, and it's great. And we're doing some good things in behavioral health. But we got to look outside that diamond now. Look at the outfield to say we need policy.
We got to come back to that because we're getting down to what folks really want to know: where and what. You know.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll be back in a moment for part 2 of our conversation with Ms. Bailey. Ms. Bailey, you were talking about the various locations and the specific problems that we have on within some census tracts and the general approach that the task force takes. Because we're not here for debate.
No.
We already have some evidence.
Yes, we do.
But this new initiative that you have is really going to even update that data, right?
Absolutely.
And tell us more about what we'll have when they finish.
Great. Hopefully at the end, our goal is to actually be able to come up with effective recommendations that we can give to the Board of Commissioners to seriously consider in terms of policy on implementing into Fulton County's policy to decrease those health disparities. That is the ultimate goal of what we plan to do through this health assessment, and that's what should come out of it. It allows us to be able to analyze what's going on in the community. What are those environmental factors that are impacting? Is it that we don't have enough?
We didn't score well in that section.
We didn't score well in that section. And is it that we don't have enough affordable housing? And people may say, well, how does affordable housing impact health?
I think that's the problem that people don't
see the connect.
They don't see the connection.
They don't see the connect. Well, if I don't have affordable housing, I'm living in substandard housing, which means there could be more. Absolutely. If I don't feel that I can go to my community park and go for a walk that will improve my health, I'm not going to do that. Well, that impacts health.
If I don't have fresh vegetables
that's right.
And access like
and
you used
access.
before.
Access is key. If I live in a food desert and I can't get the right kind of foods to improve my health, that's going to bring on additional
And people
health
are
issues.
saying, what does that have to do with health? Would you give them the answer, please?
Oh, yes, ma'am. It has everything to do with health. If we don't have those basic requirements that people need to live good lives, then that is going to impact their health. It's going to bring on stress. I'm not going to go outside if I don't feel safe to walk. If I don't have economic opportunity within my community, I can't afford the access to health care. I can't get maybe a good insurance plan.
And that impacts
your health. If I don't have transportation to maybe get to the health center that may be located in my community, then I can't go see about some of those things that are happening in my life. If I don't have good transportation, I'm having to walk to and from work.
Don't have sidewalks.
You don't have sidewalks. Where are people supposed to walk?
Don't have parks.
It's a safety issue. And that all impacts
Your
high
health.
blood pressure, asthma, what you're breathing in, what you're taking in. If I have a child in school and there's not proper ventilation or there's mold between the walls, well, that affects asthma.
What about the mold in the schools?
Mold in the schools, absolutely. Affects your learning, affects the health of children. They're going to have higher rates of asthma, which means they're going to be out of school more often. And that impacts learning. Impacting learning will eventually impact their future ability to have a good economic opportunities. It ties together. And so by us taking a look at how can we put policy in place that can improve that equity and improve those disparities so we can make sure that we have policies that say, hey, you can't have this in this area. Or you've got to at least be able to evaluate what are we putting in these districts that are hurting. What works to decrease some of those risks that are out there. And that's what we hope to get out of this health impact assessment.
That's going to be really helpful.
And Commissioner, it's proven to be effective. I think within nationally there are over 420 health impact assessments that are underway now, and where effective policy has been put in place that has helped to decrease health disparities. And so we think this is the route to go.
Well, that's just really encouraging because, as you noted earlier, we have our own mechanism that is designed to develop evidence for us.
Yes.
That's what those strategies divisions are for.
That's
and of course, we know that in all of the major areas, we have periodic reports.
That's right, absolutely.
You know, we get plenty of reports from inside, but that strategy office is looking at external data as well. And you mentioned earlier about certain census tracts. We were very surprised to find out that one of the census tracts that has had the highest increase in cancer is an African American community that's really located outside Roswell.
Yes, Morgan Falls.
And we said, wait a minute now, all those communities that have these kind of problems, they're either in Central Fulton, which is mostly Northwest Atlanta, Southwest Atlanta, South Fulton, or South Fulton. So it was unusual, but GIS cameras are very good.
Yes, yes.
They're very good, and we found an African American community outside Roswell that had some of the worst numbers in terms of increase in cancer, and we just investigated that, and as I said, GIS will tell the story about your community. These people had a high number of high school graduates. They had a high number of people who were two-year college. They had a median income of like $40,000, which is pretty good for our African American community. But guess what we found out? There was an active landfill there. It's passive. It's not on the top list. It's closed, and Fulton County Public Works, they were doing everything they were supposed to do, insofar as the landfill is concerned. But 1/3 of those folks, based on the GIS map, their property lines were in less than 1/3 distance from that closed landfill. So we've decided that, as you said many times here, Ms. Bailey, sometimes public policy contributes to the problems that we have. We have to be careful in our zoning and land use policy, don't we?
Yes, we have to be very cautious. We've got to start to look at the environmental factors that are having a direct impact on the health of the citizens. We have to do that.
And it's nothing intentional.
No, not at all.
It's just a matter of facts. And where the facts indicate public policies could be at fault.
Could be.
When we concentrate the best services and the best side of town. That's not done with evil intent.
Right.
But it has an impact.
It has an impact, and we've got to be more conscious of what we're doing in that area. Yes, ma'am.
So it's going to take more than policy. Since 1995, as some people may not know, Fulton County has given high priority to environmental justice issues.
They have.
If you're a minority community and you already have an adverse environmental pollution point in your neighborhood, then another environmentally adverse activity, as defined by the health department, cannot come within 1/3 distance of your community. So we've been working on this a long time. But as you indicated, Ms. Bailey, we are interested now in impact.
Yes, absolutely.
Too many mothers crying. There's still too many.
Yes.
Not all of them, thank goodness, but too many.
Too many.
Too many children dying. And we really appreciate so much that the people of this county get a chance to see that we do more than meet and eat and sign proclamations.
Absolutely.
We have department heads working with other governments and with the health community to have an impact.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Bridget. I got to use my left hand.
Thank you for having me, Commissioner. That's all right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you to the entire staff of the Ad Hoc Task Force on Health Disabilities, and every member of the Board of Commissioners stands ready to help you. Policy is easy. Impact is what we want.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'll be back in a moment with closing thoughts. We've been greatly encouraged that the NACO 2018 county ranking list has listed Fulton County as ranking number 5 in the health status of its citizens in a state with 159 counties. However, when we look at the real meaning of the sustainable community, economically strong, environmentally safe, with liberty and justice for all, we must conclude from the evidence that much remains to be done. By working on the inside with the Ad Hoc Task Force on Health Disparities, with the outside, we will get an opportunity now to show how it is done. Too many mothers crying. Too many children dying in the richest county in this state. That's all the time we have for today's conversation. Until next time, friends and neighbors, stay strong. To learn more about today's conversation, contact me at 404-612-8222. That's 404-612-8222. You can also email me at emma.darnell@fultoncountygeorgia.gov. Visit us online at emmadarnell.com or connect with us on Facebook or Twitter.